There's a stark, almost physical tension in modern AI right now. We all want endless context. We want models to swallow entire books, massive code bases, and deep histories in a single breath. But against that desire, you have the brutal, unforgiving math of the GPU memory wall. Because every single token an AI processes requires a memory to be saved. And the longer that sequence gets, the heavier the compute cost, until the memory just needed to hold the context completely dwarfs the model itself. We call this overhead the KVCache. In traditional models, its growth is relentless. It is perfectly linear. And that brings us to hybrid sliding window attention, or hybrid SWA. On paper, it arrives as a kind of theoretical savior, promising to cut the compute and storage burden down to roughly 1/7 of its usual weight. It's an undeniably elegant mathematical proposition, but elegance on paper rarely survives contact with actual production infrastructure. To really understand the context bottleneck here, we have to look at the baseline. Full attention requires every single word to evaluate its relationship with every other word that came before it. If you're running long contexts, that scales prohibitively fast. Hybrid SWA-aware changes those rules entirely. It interleaves local and global attention. So most neural layers are only looking at their immediate neighbors within a sliding window, while only a select few layers keep a full global view. Suddenly, your complexity drops from exponential to near linear. So how do you actually build that? You end up needing a dual-pool cache architecture. And shifting from a theoretical architecture to systems engineering reveals a pretty grueling reality. You just can't easily store partial shifting memories in a system that was designed from the ground up to rigidly hold everything. Hybrid SWA introduces this fundamental storage conflict between the layers that need the whole sequence and the layers that only need the last few moments. Think of it like running two completely distinct library filing systems at the exact same time. Side A is an endless permanent archive, storing absolutely every item ever deposited. It just keeps growing. Side B, though, is like a shifting temporary desk that only holds the books read in the last hour. If you force Side B to use Side A's massive, heavy shelving system, you're wasting vast amounts of space. This system has to physically separate these pools, allocating exactly what's needed for the full sequence and strictly constraining that sliding window to a tiny fraction of the space. And the real trick? All of this has to happen while presenting a single, unified catalog to the rest of the machine. But fixing the storage inevitably breaks the retrieval, which introduces the prefix matching problem. It's like a shifting horizon line. To save time, systems use a map, a prefix tree, to reuse computational work from past requests. Now, the traditional rule here is dead simple. If the text is identical, the cache is identical. But under a sliding window, that logical map actually outlives the physical storage. The text might match perfectly, but its earliest memories have already fallen out of that sliding window and been overwritten. If the system blindly assumes the memory is still there, it retrieves garbage, and hallucination follows right behind it. So the core assumption of cache retrieval had to be completely rewritten. They needed a new semantic rule, what they call a window safe length. Simply put, the system can only reuse a match if the physical tail of that memory is still intact. Anything beyond that boundary has to be discarded and completely recomputed. And this brings us to the distributed system friction, the honest truth of scaling. An optimistic reading of an architecture paper usually stops right at that 7 times theoretical gain. But any skeptic knows that when you split a system across memory, disk, and remote networks, the layers will eventually fall out of sync. Those massive theoretical gains can quickly become fatal bottlenecks. Because data moves asynchronously, sometimes the GPU has the necessary memory, but the host machine just doesn't. Or, in a rather cruel irony of caching, a massive sequence might sit untouched just long enough for the deepest storage layer to quietly evict it, destroying any chance of reusing that heavy computational work across the network. Bandwidth and latency are basically locked in this constant, unforgiving trade-off. And then there is the hardware itself. The engineering team notes this with a kind of dry resignation, sharing a reality that perfectly sums up the sheer pain of operating infrastructure like this. GCache has experienced host machine failures nearly every day. You don't actually prevent the failures in a system like this. You build to localize the blast radius. You distribute the keys. You just have to accept the chaos of the physical layer. So to salvage the architecture and actually push production throughput, you have to synchronize the pipeline. You cannot rely on the framework to just work out of the box. You have to intervene directly in exactly how requests are scheduled, routed, and processed. Take request length, for example. If you feed a system entirely randomly, a short query will get trapped behind the colossal synchronization weight of a massive million-token context. So the team implemented a strict 3-tier bucketing strategy. 0 to 64K, 64K to 256K, and 256K up to 1 million. By quarantining the really heavy lifts, they prevent the short requests from being suffocated during that initial processing phase. Then there's the output phase. By forcing multi-token prediction support straight into the earliest moments of processing, the system drastically accelerates the first responses. The initial 128 tokens arrive 2.3 times faster. For short, agentic tasks, where an AI essentially needs to think and act quickly, this single intervention directly salvages the performance of the entire model. And the compounding effect of these microscopic, deeply technical interventions, it's entirely measurable. By decoupling downloads, overlapping cross-request processing, and shifting image handling directly to the GPU, they literally doubled the throughput. Queries per second moved from 15 to 30. And crucially, they pulled that off without breaking the latency bounds. The wait times held remarkably steady. Which brings us to the ultimate engineering reality here: coordinated optimization. We often look for singular, massive breakthroughs in this field, a new architecture, a new paper that rewrites the math overnight. But pulling a model out of a sterile research environment and forcing it to survive at scale reveals a very different truth. Efficiency is not a single breakthrough. It is 1,000 microscopic, coordinated optimizations. Please note, this explainer is AI-generated with Notebook LM, drawn from Xiaomi MiMo, Explore and Love by the Xiaomi MiMo team. Informational only, not advice. If you've been enjoying the journey so far, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next one. Take care.